if somebody 10 years younger, I'm a little about 10 years older than you, so I'm curious to what you would say. If someone 10 years younger came to you and said, Oshane, I see what you're doing. I want to aspire to be something like you when I grow up. How should I spend my time and what should I do? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how you would answer that question.
Yeah, wow, that's a great question. You've really been thinking a lot. All right, great. I hope I don't disappoint you.
There's no right answer. And also, to be honest, someone's asked me that. So I've had to kind of think about it. And I also see a lot of people who are a lot younger than me building personal brands, preaching. And it's made me think about, like, what's the point of a personal brand other than trying to help other people essentially preach, I guess, your value system a little bit, or like what brought you to where you're at. So I'm just curious to hear, like, Oshane, how do I become like you? How should I spend my time, and how would you advise me on what I should do?
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Well, first, I don't really want anybody to be like me. I'm not that great. If you can aim a little higher, I think that would work out better for you. But in my experience, I've found the greatest value being in a whole ton of networking. Now, it's always been my natural bent to connect, to talk to people, get to know them. Well, I started off kind of a group. So I started a youth group centered around motivation and entertainment and event planning and that sort of stuff. So I had some sort of purpose, or I had a direct vision. I had a need to connect with people. All right. So I would say, like, find something that, this is so cliche, but find something worth doing. Find something worth working on that's not just about you, but involves other people, whether it be some kind of software or platform that other people can use, or a community that other people can join, or an event, a yearly event, monthly event that other people can attend. And that will give you a legitimate reason to keep talking to people. That's step one. Step two is, the more people you talk to, the more you will see common themes in the conversations, and what people ask you to do or help them with. So in networking, it'll kind of come to the forefront of what you're pretty much good at, or what people need, or what they think you're good at, or how they perceive you. And so in my networking, people would tend to start to see me as somebody who has the mic, maybe hosting an event, being at the forefront in media and entertainment. And I went to school for HR, right? That's literally in the back type of job. But I found myself outside of classes, it was media and entertainment. And fast forward 7, 8 years later, I'm working with a radio station, and I'm co-hosting a podcast with you, Colin. So first, have something to work on. Second, network a whole ton, and people will kind of help you to see what you're good at or what you're pulled towards. And then from there, look at the common themes, I'd say, and pinpoint on your timeline, various elements, various events of significance, and then cross-reference them and see, where do all these events and instances intersect. And that right there in the middle is going to be very closely tied, if not your personal brand, right there in the middle. So I'd say it takes time. Do a ton load of networking, and other people will tell you, because there's no point to a personal brand if other people aren't engaging with it. That's the whole point of a brand. It's for other people to understand how to interpret you. You already know who you are, right? There's no value of you necessarily, interacting with your own brand. It's the whole point is for other people to interact with you. So take cues from other people. That's what I'd say.
I like that answer. Now, follow up. What would be the number one habit that you think somebody needs to acquire? Because I agree. I think you hit that out of the park. I think that was a great answer. But there's so much within that, and it takes 7 years. Okay, that's great. What's the number one habit that I, as someone younger, should do or build or focus on to be able to, aspire to land in that type of situation?
I would say self-reflection, taking time to pull away from the speed and rush of everyday life and reflect. Think. You can only connect the dots looking backward. So take time to pull away from your computer, from your tablet, from your phone, pull away from work, or when you're finished with work, take some time, pull away from everybody, from family, from your friends, and find a quiet space by yourself. I think nature is really helpful, going outside, maybe taking a walk in the park, and really just think. If you're religious, pray, ask God, to tell you, to speak to you. And just take that time to slow down so you can hear. Because you can't hear very well when you're going 100 miles an hour. You can't, because you're trying to stay on the road. You're trying to not crash, right? Or crash out. So if you can slow down, then you'll find that you start to notice things about yourself and reflect on past experiences, and you can gain wisdom from that. Because wisdom isn't just like having knowledge. Wisdom is applied knowledge. It's knowledge that has been assessed and reflected on. You can't do that if you're always going. So I think that's maybe the number one thing to practice. Daily meditation, taking time to slow down and really reflect on who you are, where you're from, and where you're going.
I feel like I'm going to be totally honest with you, and I'm not just saying this for the cameras. I almost like have a little bit of goosebumps in the sense that your answers are like exactly the answers that I kind of like came to on my own when I was thinking about like, how do I synthesize, just like thinking for myself, like what would be the advice in that situation? If somebody said that, well, because some people did say that to me, and I'm about 10 years older than you. So the synthesized version of it is, I was actually trying to think about this. Like, I think about it not just from like all the things that I've studied and learned, but kind of looking at a lot of my peers, like, just friends growing up. Like, what's the difference between the ones that were able to kind of figure it out and the ones that weren't? Just kind of thinking about that. And I would say the number one answer that I kind of came to was pattern recognition. And how do you get better at pattern recognition? Self-reflection. Like those two things, I think, are the difference maker. So you kind of hit the nail on the head on that. I don't really, and to be honest, you're actually mature in the sense that I don't even know if I would have given that answer as maturely as you did 10 years ago. I only do that because I feel like not a lot of people talk about that. And I think you're absolutely right. I know some people I know I feel like are just not good at pattern recognition. I think a lot of it has to do with maybe cultural, like nature versus nurture. Some people don't have like, what the saying is, like, you are the sum of your 5 friends.